Hi, we are Sales, Tax, and More. Today, we're talking about exemption certificate management. Certificate issues are one of the leading causes of large assessments for companies required to collect them. This can be due to a couple of reasons. One of the biggest reasons is because it previously wasn't that big of an issue. Prior to the Great Recession in 2008, certificates were not a huge issue, but at that time, the states were looking for more revenue. Due to the bad economy, their citizens needed more services. They had to pay for those services. So the states started looking for ways to increase revenue. This led to them taking a look at exemption certificate laws and realizing that they weren't enforcing them. This was a shift from what was formerly in place prior to 2008, which was substance over form. This means that if an auditor knew that a sale was for resale or some type of exempt sale, they gave you leeway, and sometimes a state wouldn't even audit companies like wholesalers or distributors. However, when the state started enforcing these laws, it went from substance over form to form over substance in a lot of instances. So what this meant was that if a company didn't have all of the required information on a form or have it on the correct form, then that was going to cause problems for the taxpayers. The state's now hardline approach was very successful for them, which led to exempt sales becoming the biggest cause for large assessments. This is why exemption certificate management documentation is very important in an audit. As we mentioned earlier, this has become a matter of form over substance, and one of the biggest problems that arises is disregarding smaller amounts of sales tax on invoices. However, audits are mostly done on a sample basis, so a small unpaid invoice, when extrapolated out over the population, can have a major impact. This is why documentation is so important, because without it, the taxpayer is going to end up paying a lot of money inside the audit. One of the biggest mistakes companies make when it comes to ECM is simply just not doing it at all. Secondly, a lot of companies are collecting certificates, but they are not making sure that the certificate is valid. Valid means that, would the certificate survive an auditor's review? It is very important that someone is validating certificates. Additionally, a huge mistake is overriding whoever is validating the certificates. ECM is something that an individual can do on their own. However, it's a lot of knowledge in the ever-changing world of sales tax, and the states have their own idea as to what they consider exempt. This is when third parties like Sales Tax and More can provide assistance in validating certificates. In conclusion, it is paramount to collect certificates due to it being one of the biggest reasons for a large assessment in audits. It's important with this process to also take extra time and attention to make sure it's being done correctly. For more information and other free resources, including webinars, blogs, and podcasts, or any questions, you can reach out to us at salestaxandmore.com.